Hello and welcome back. I really should be saying welcome back to myself because I have been on a little bit of a hiatus. I have made a lot of changes in my life and I kind of needed some time to get to know myself again, to recalibrate, recenter, get back to where I needed to be in order to show up as authentically as possible. So I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to feel more centered, more aligned. It's been a wild ride, and I'll probably do an episode on everything that got me where I am today. But I had an experience this weekend. I did Spiritus Breathwork with Tim Morrison in St. Pete at Roots to Crown, and I had never done anything like this before. I always wanted to. I have been interested in this world for a very long time. Like, I was looking at doing ayahuasca like years and years ago, like 10 plus years ago. But I have never gotten the balls to do it. But these breathwork sessions to me look just as powerful and just as activating and overwhelming and transformative as plant medicine. So I signed up and I went with a very open mind, and it was incredible. It was an experience for sure. It blew me wide open. Like, the rawness that you feel after that. And I've been practicing breath work I do Breathe with Sandy in the morning, most mornings. That's like part of my morning routine now. So I've been doing here and there breath work for a year. And I love it. I feel like it allows me to get to a place of meditation that I can't get to, or I hadn't been able to get to without the breath. And yes, you stay with your breath, you breathe in, breathe out, but my mind always just took me. So once I found breath work and it really grounded me in my body and really slowed down my nervous system, and I could like somatically feel that sense of relaxation, that quiet, that stillness. It was so powerful for me. We started out with just like grounding, and then we did a breath work that I normally would do like on the Breathe with Sandy. It was like 3 or 4 rounds of breath work, breath holds, all of that. And that was great. And he connected you with your intention and connected you with why you were there. And I connected it all to my inner child and like who brought you here and all of that. And it was just this deep sense of gratitude for all of the work that I had done to get myself not only here in my life, but there that day. And then we went into, after he kind of gave us a little background on him, which I listened to a bunch of his podcasts, so I knew all of what he was talking about, which was great. And then he took us into the experience. And it was an hour of conscious breath. Just inhale, exhale, no time between either. There were no breath holds. It was just continuous breathing for an hour. And he played the didgeridoo, and he had his own kind of like music going on up there. He had his guitar. He played it was great. It was like very tribal music. And you know, what you see, and I think that they, you know, when we market things, you want to create that emotion. So you see like the heightened part of this. You see people having those big emotional releases. And sometimes you can get caught up in like, is that what it's going to be for me? Like, am I going to feel that? And then you kind of go in there with this expectation of like, I'm going to have this big release. And you could kind of let yourself get in your head, right? Of like, he even talked about that, like chasing that big release instead of just like surrendering and allowing things to be. So we got into this conscious breathing for the hour, and at one point my whole body was covered in sweat, like just wet. And at another point I was laying and breathing, and he said it's breath work, like this is something that you have to, it's not something that's just going to happen to you, like you have to stick with that breath, you have to keep going. And after a little while I was just breathing and thinking to myself, like, I'm just feeling numb, like I'm not reaching anything. And okay, notice that thought and let it move like the clouds, and continue moving and continue breathing and continue being. And this was what I was telling myself. And I'm breathing and just being with myself, and a woman let out this scream, and she started yelling, and the scream, like, you're in your own world, like you're just not expecting it. It like caused that jump, right? And it's almost like I'm so grateful for it, because that is what set me on my release, because it brought me back to that inner child, back to that intention. And I just remembered that fear that I constantly lived in as a child. And I was always like, if someone would call my name, even sometimes to this day, like I jumped like that. And it just gave me that remembrance, that connectivity to my inner child of like how much I desired to be held in my own space, to be understood, to be seen, to be cared for, to all of it within this fear. And the emotion and the sadness that had come over me, it almost stopped. Like I could feel my breath go into my belly, but anytime I tried to breathe, because it was a belly chest exhale, like you breathe into your belly, you breathe into your chest, and then you exhale. And anytime I tried to bring that breath up to my chest, I couldn't bring it up to my chest. Like my body wouldn't allow me to do it. And I always in my meditations, or in sometimes even in my breath work, like I feel this almost like, and it's it makes a lot of sense. When you're trying to not cry and you have that knot in your throat that you're just trying so hard not to cry, and your throat hurts so bad because you're just holding it in so bad. I get that feeling all the time when I meditate. I get that feeling all the time when I do breath work. So like that connection to my chest and my throat, I was physically feeling the block in that breath work. And there was a part of me, because they had, support crew there, and I wanted someone to like help me breathe that through. And that goes back to like always wanting someone to save me, always wanting someone to give me the answer, always wanting that support. Oh, never, not that I don't want to do it myself, but I feel like I've had to do it myself for so long that I just love to lean into that support. But it almost becomes like a hindrance, because I'm, like in relationship, like in life, you're like always looking for someone to save you, always looking for the answer to be outside of you, always looking for the next thing to be the answer. And as I'm having this trouble breathing into my chest, and as I had that like jolt of fear, like the first thing that came into my head, because especially in the beginning of the breath work, he had us connect to our center and like into your safety. And I was just reminded that like I need to be my safety here. Like I need to provide this for myself. And he said, anytime you get stuck, just continue to breathe through it. And I let myself cry, and I let myself feel it. And I let myself work through that block to my chest. And eventually I was able to stop crying and breathe and just be there for myself. And I think it's more powerful that I had to do that on my own than if I had somebody there to support me, because I'm the only one who has me, right? Like, yes, it's important to have community. It's important to have people. It's important. But at the core, I need to have me. And coming out of this whole experience, then you like downregulate your nervous system, and your breathing, it turns from this big belly breath to a longer exhale than your inhale. So taking a deep breath in and having like an exhale count for 8. And we're just slowly coming back to a regulated state. And I was just reminded in that portion of it to deeply, deeply support myself and be kind and be so compassionate and be just slow. And when we finished, I just felt so raw, like so open, so vulnerable, so connected to everything. Like all of myself felt like it was sitting just like right on the surface. And I came home and I was just, what just happened? I literally came home and took a 3-hour nap. Like he said, it's very normal for you to feel exhausted after something like this. Who would think that your breath, the thing that all of us have access to every single day and do it unconsciously 99.99999% of the time, can be so powerful and create so much like physiological change in your life, in your body, it's insane. So I came home, I was very intentional with, I stayed off all social media. I just like took really good care of myself. I got invited to something that night and I just knew that I would not be up for it. So I just made sure that I gave myself a lot of time. I had a nice nourishing dinner. I just let myself be very slow and journaled about my experience and all of that. And then last night I was journaling and it just, like that first day you feel so connected. You feel so like the experience is so close to the surface. And it's so crazy as humans, as your body comes back to really what it is like your nervous system going back to how it's used to functioning after you put it in a completely different state. So it probably took me honestly a full 24 hours to get back to my full self. Like I was feeling a little better. Like I had a little headache. I did have a little like, I don't feel good. I really have to go and just like rest. But the next day, you're coming back to yourself and your body and just getting back to life as it normally is. And I think it's just so important how we bring that into our life. And as I was journaling the other night, and this is really what I wanted to hit on this, is like we look at all of these things, whether it's plant medicine, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's the next course you're going to buy, whether it's the next book you're going to read. Like we're looking for the answers in these things. We're looking for these things to be the thing. Sorry, I always try to speak from the first person because I'm not going to speak for you. I'm going to speak for me. I'm always looking for something to be the answer, for me to read something or me to experience something, and that be the thing that changes my whole life. Okay, so I'll just read my journal because this is what I journaled. I'm still processing yesterday, more like integrating, making conscious change. I think we have this idea that one experience is going to change our life. I need to take this class. I need to go to this talk. I need to take this drug. I need to try mushrooms. I need to work with this coach, whatever it is that you might have. I feel like our society is such a consumer society. Of course it is, but we're always like grabbing at the next thing, and we've even turned this into our own journey towards self. And this next thing, this next teacher, this next experience will change everything for me. This is what we tell ourselves, right? And the kind of change we are talking about, I saw this video the other day that was like, she was a doctor and she was saying how one day life changes. Like whether it's a car accident, whether it's a diagnosis, whether it's an accident, whatever it might be, life changes. And there's life before that and there's life after that. And those life changes are different than these life changes of hearing something or learning something or connecting with someone. Like they're very different. Those life changes change your life like that. Like you can't go back to what your life was before you got the diagnosis, before you got the accident, before the injury. Like it's impossible. But you can take a class, you can read a book, you can learn from something, you can have an experience, and it doesn't change at the core like getting that diagnosis does, or having that accident, or something in that sense of life-altering change, if that makes any kind of sense. It did to me. Death, that's another example of that kind of change. But this change that we're talking about, this change is a daily choice. This change is literally who you are. And you have to work at that shit every single day. Like this breathwork experience it's not going to change my life. It's not going to change my life unless I take the action to change my life from the things that I experienced and integrate something into my daily life. If I don't do that, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't. It was like a cool experience. Yeah, great. But like, that's it. It's just a cool experience. And it's not easy to market that. It's not easy to say like, hey, you could come to this experience and you could have this like incredible experience, but like, it's not going to make any change in your life if you don't make any other consistent change for yourself. I hate to say it, but like, there really is no magic pill to this shit. Like, there is no person is going to come into your life and change everything for you when it comes to how you think about yourself and how you show up in the world, and how you have to do that with aligned daily, hourly action, minutely action. It's not a click the link and solve all your problems or read this book and your life will change. Your life will change only if you implement the change. Your life will change with a devotion to yourself, to the life you know you're meant to live. So yes, experience things, read, learn, experiment, but also integrate, become, and find balance in the reaching for new information, for believing that all of the answers are outside of you, for thinking you need to take one more. I am like the worst person when it comes to this. Like, thinking that I don't know enough, thinking that I need another class, I need another certification, I need another this in order to show up and be worthy of showing up. Hi, this is me. Hi, my name's Raven. Allow your daily habits to change as they reflect clearer and clearer of the life that you're aligning with. And this is, I write this in the you because it's for me. I am constantly reminding myself that lately, because like, yes, we do need to learn new things. Like, yes, we only know what we've been taught so far. Yes, when you know better, you do better. So you have to learn new things. But if all you're doing if all I'm doing is consuming new things and consuming new things. I had to pick up a work call, so I kind of forgot where I was at. But I just think that we focus so much on gathering information, gathering certifications, gathering degrees, instead of even gathering experience, instead of fully integrating what we've learned. And it's just because it's not as pretty. And it's also because when you say that, you can't sell somebody something. Like, hey, there's nothing really left for you to do. You have all the information you need inside of you. Be with yourself. No one wants to tell you that. Even I'm offering a women's circle, mirror meditation. I'm calling it reflecting and connecting because it's connecting with reflecting in the mirror, but also reflecting on yourself and connecting in the mirror with yourself, but also connecting to other like-minded people who allow you to feel seen. And that could be such a powerful experience. But just like this experience of this breath work, if it's not integrated, if the mirror meditation or whatever practice, we want change in our life. I want change in my life. If I'm not integrating these new things that I'm using into my life daily, like let's say, okay, you come to mirror meditation with me and whoever shows up, and whoever it is the perfect people to be there to mirror whatever you need. And then you go home and you don't take any of the things. So we'll be journaling, we'll be meditating, we'll be connecting with other people, we'll be looking in the mirror, like a whole bunch of different practices in one experience that give you maybe some new tools that you didn't have before. Maybe the mirror meditation gives you an inspiration to meditate a little bit differently than you used to. Maybe it inspires you to get into a meditation practice altogether, or make it more of a consistent part of your routine. I wasn't consistently doing breath work for the last year, a couple days here, a couple days there. But I know if I choose to consistently do it every single day, I'm going to see a different change. I feel different when I do it. I did it today. And look, I finally, after 5 or 6 months, it's honestly probably a year since I recorded. 5 or 6 months is a little ridiculous again. But I have finally gotten to a place where I feel good in myself. And this has taken so much work to get to who I'm showing up as today. And I don't think we have enough reminders that it's hard, that it takes time, that we fall off so much before. And it's like, I was going to say before we get to where we want to go, but like, where are we trying to go? Did I? Like, this whole journey is it. Like, learning and growing and making mistakes and falling up and getting back. Falling up. Yeah, fall up. Falling down and getting back up again. Finding compassion for the whole journey. All the relationships that I have had have taught me something so, so valuable. And if I didn't have them, I wouldn't have a skill that had really helped me in my next chapter of life. All of it, the hard, the happy, the exciting, the sad, the frustrating, the failures, the success, like all of it is so important to what makes our life so rich and so beautiful. And I don't say that to like just cherry coat. I don't think that's it. Sugarcoat. To sugarcoat anything. Because even dealing with the stuff I'm dealing with and the stuff that I'm processing through this breath work and this journaling and what I've been working on for years and years and years, like this is not something that's new to me. This journaling, this meditating, this yoga, this desire to want to be a loving person within myself, to support myself. I have been on this journey, I honestly believe, since I was a little girl. And I'm exactly, people always say, and it's so funny how as you get older, the cliches actually become, like, you say them and you mean them with your whole heart, because like, it's really true. Like, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And where I am right now may not be exactly where I want to be. But at the same time, like, I'm so grateful for this little pocket of my life. And it's like so sweet. Like right now, I am working while I'm recording. I'm getting interrupted by phone calls. Gotta deal with it. I need to work while also trying to build something that feels meaningful and fulfilling to myself. And I live with my mom, and I hate recording when someone's in the house. I don't know why. It's okay to release this to all of you, but when there's somebody that I know listening, it makes it, like, I don't want to say a stinking word. And if you have ever done this, you will probably relate to that. But I was going to say, I think we all need to remember, but I'm always talking for only me. And I have been doing a really, really good job at this, of just like really remembering to savor right now. Like, I could sit here and go into like, oh, I had to move back in with my mom. It was another failed relationship, all of that. But like, this time with my mom, I know is so special. And like, I know one day I'm going to look back at this and be so grateful for the things that we have worked through while we lived here together, for the memories that we're making. And she won't be here forever, and neither will I. Like, who knows what can happen, right? Life is so precious, and it's so easy to lose sight of that in the seeking and the wanting more and more and more. So, my whole point of sitting down here today, I know I'm kind of like all over the place. When you find yourself, I don't know, like, am I trying to give advice here? I don't really know. But I think I just want to double click on the importance of integration. To double click on not always reaching outside of yourself. For me, always reaching outside of myself for more. For the validation of a certification, the validation of a coach, the validation of a book, the validation of your peers, whatever it is, and to really take whatever experience, whatever I want to learn, and allow it to fully integrate within myself. And I'm so grateful for these like big blow myself open experiences. But I'm so, so grateful for myself for realizing and understanding and taking the time and energy and putting in the work for the integration. Because that's the true work. Lily? What are you doing? And stop it. And notice where in life you are given an opportunity. My mom got a puppy. This is Lily. Lily has been a great teacher, haven't you? She has taught me so much in integrating what I've been learning. She is a puppy, so she's crazy. And I've been like working with training her. And she does drive me crazy, but she is teaching me so much patience. So much patience, so much understanding, so much compassion, so much that I get to practice with her and then do for myself. And I think it's so important. And as much as she drives me crazy, I'm very thankful for the lessons that having her in my life give me. So, Lilliton. Notice where life is giving you an opportunity to show up in the way that you have said that you wanted to show up. And instead of meeting that opportunity with your same old pattern, hi, talking in a you instead of me, I have noticed that life has given me opportunities to show up differently. And in the past, I have showed up in my old pattern. But I am finally feeling a shift in the small ways in my life, how I am choosing to show up. And I know that's what creates the biggest change. And it makes me so excited and so grateful. And yeah. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. If you want, let me know what you thought in the comments. If you've ever done like a big breathwork thing or anything, or if any of this lands for me, just let me know what you think. And I'm going to try to be more consistent here. This is also an opportunity, like showing up here is also an opportunity to push my edge. This is something that's really hard for me. And I'm sure one day I'll be so grateful that I conquered that too. So until next time.